Hey guys, this is a tier video that I posted one of these like 2 years ago, and since that video 2 years ago, I have gotten multiple requests to like do an updated version, and I never did because I was lazy. And eventually, Pika, a friend of mine on Discord, he said if he did all the image work, would I finally do a video? I said okay, and he is going to join me along with a few other people. So Pika, you can say hello.
Hello.
Also, a few other friends. This is like we're doing this on an open Discord, so people may be dropping in at random points during the video. So there may be other people talking. I know Shadow Walker and Maxi are going to be joining us as well. Potentially other people. But anyway, we're going to be discussing Neovisions and Neovision Awakened units as of the current time of May 4th, 2021. And we'll be like ranking them on tier lists. Now, keep in mind, this is strictly for entertainment value. This is not like a scientifically researched list. This is completely opinionated. And if you disagree, definitely let us know in the comments. But, don't take this as like the gospel. So this is just our opinions of what we think on units. If we put your favorite unit at the bottom, don't hate us. If we put the wrong unit at the top, you can tell us we're wrong. We'll probably, agree or disagree. But this is just for entertainment for the most part and talking about the units with some friends. So we're going to be going through the whole list. We may or may not get through the entire list in one video. If it gets too long, we're going to make a part 2. But they're in loosely alphabetical order, and when importing the sprites, like some of the sprites got, partly cut off, but you get the idea of what we're going on. So we're going to start with Neovision's Aerith. So where do you think, Pika? Like how is she in today's meta?
Underwhelming at best.
I kind of agree. She's certainly a serviceable healer. I wouldn't put her in the bottom tier. But like, what is she bringing to your party overall? Not a whole lot. Like she's got the support kit with some stuff like the healing. She can cure debuffs. She can't prevent them though.
And those kits are mutually exclusive too, so she can't be doing both at once.
Oh, you mean like her mage form and all?
Yeah.
Yeah, her mage form, the damage, especially today, is just really, really far behind. So yeah, I'd agree. Underwhelming is a good place for her. And for most of these units, just for the viewers, we're not going to spend a ton of time going into super deep details, just because like there's so many of them. So like Aerith, that's probably all we're going to say about her. Most of these we're going to skip through. Some of the more current, more important units we'll spend more time on, but most of these are going to be going relatively quickly. So now Eileen, I'd say she's almost niche category just because she does have one of the highest machine killer buffs in the game, and she can do okay-ish finishing damage at the same time.
Her DV usability is pretty good if they apply, right?
Yeah, that's why I say it's like kind of like niche. Like she, if you're doing a machine boss. She's bringing a whole lot more than like Regina, who has the other 200% human or machine killer buff. So I'd put her there. Like you're never going to use her outside of like a machine killer boss in Dark Visions, or maybe like a trial, like the Omega trial. She actually saw some use in the Omega trial, but overall, like on a day-to-day use, you're not going to be using Eileen. All right, how about Cleom and Axstar, Cleostar?
Meta. Yeah,
I'd say so too, because for human killers, like they are the top of the line. They actually don't need Zon, which is really good. A whole bunch of these have great killer buffs, but you have to bring Zon along as well. The duo units that don't need Zon are really, really powerful because they completely free up a party slot in Dark Visions, and their finishing damage is pretty high end right now. It's not like the absolute best, but it's still certainly very, very high compared to the other options out there.
It's like 150%, right?
The killer buff, yes, the killer buff is 150 for the whole party, and it's both physical and magical, so they're really versatile. And Awaken the Dragon Axstar, how's this going?
I think he's gonna. I don't remember him
underwhelming at this point.
I would actually say he's almost in like the nope category. Like other than the fact that he can imbue ice, which is not exclusive to him. What is he really doing? His damage is so far behind these days.
He doesn't even have a a killer buff, but he does have a break gauge thing that if you really need, you could fill in, I guess.
That's true. He did have the katana gauge, and that was pretty rare in the early days. These days, we've got quite a few units that have katana break, but
Gilgamesh and Gladiolus, right? Those two are katana, I think.
Shadow as well.
Oh yeah, Shadow, right? So, quite a few.
So what do y'all think? Underwhelming or nope? He's definitely.
I think he's at least underwhelming, though. He's better than.
I would just put him nope.
Okay, nope.
All right. Sorry, Axstar. All right, Aranea. Now, disclaimer, we're doing this video. We've gotten news about Global's Aranea buffs, but we haven't gotten the data mine yet, so we don't know the extent of any changes from Aranea. So we're going to discuss her based entirely on her Japanese kit, and if she's changed on Global, well, that's going to happen after this video. But based on her JP kit, what do you guys think for Aranea?
Nope.
I think also Aranea didn't get the Glex tag, right? I think Arden got the Glex tag. Yeah, but Aranea didn't get the Glex tag in the news.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty safe to assume.
She's basically a worse version of Edgar.
Yeah, I would say she's underwhelming. She's still like okay-ish. Like she's certainly not. She's far from the top. But she can do. I think she outdamages Fang, which is.
I think she also
not saying a lot.
I think she's Mazurka's damage when Mazurka doesn't have her killer supply or something.
Yeah.
Her DPS is pretty bad.
Yeah, but her burst is.
Her burst is
half decent if I remember.
Well, yeah, you're probably using her only in Dark Visions, if at all.
Yeah.
I guess her burst is just about where Fang is, where it's and that's kind of at this point.
All right. How about Kefka, Archmage Kefka? What do you guys think?
Low nope.
He goes in.
I disagree because his limit burst in Dark Visions is actually one of the higher Thunder Mages. It's not like meta tier or anything, but I'd say he's at the very least underwhelming. It's I think it's a 110x modifier with a 200% buff.
It is 110 modifier.
You do have to wait 9 turns to get that good buff, but in Dark Visions, I mean, most fights it's not a problem. It's just tedious, but it's certainly not going to hurt you any. But it's a 110 modifier. He doesn't have the chain cap increase, so he really wants like Savior's STMR. But
I guess he also does have killer buffs, right?
That's true. That's true. He can also buff 150% to a few like Bird, Beast, and I forget the other Human, maybe.
Human, yeah.
So what do you guys think? If y'all think nope, I'll do it. But I would say underwhelming.
I think he might even have a niche if you look at the killers, right?
That's true. Because just because of lack of other options, like for Thunder Mages, you've got like you can't even really count Ibarra for Dark Visions because it's AOE. So that's not even going to work for her for Thunder.
Sakura.
Yeah, you've got like like there's just like he's like the second or third best Thunder Mage because there's no other options. So I'd say niche.
He probably still won't bring, like, if we're talking about DV, unless for the killers, you're not going to be bringing him, right?
Like, he can also be slot efficient, though, right? He has an 84% break. If you really want to fill it with 6 damage dealers.
Oh, yeah, he does have that. I always forget that.
84% break on defense and SPR, and he has the killers, and he has 200% LB damage boost. So he can, I guess, be in the niche category for DV specifically.
Okay. So how about Assassin Shadow? He's actually
meta.
I really like him. Yeah.
He's meta.
I mean, he kind of is actually for if you're trying to bring double Mirage for your party, he probably is one of the best options.
I think
he'd be meta.
He's the only NV option with the double stack Mirage, right?
Mazurka has 2 stack on demand, and she has 3 stack on her LB, which is technically better sometimes.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of stuff. He does Imperils, he does breaks, he does Mirage, break gauge. He can do Katana Imperil, one of the few units that can do. Yeah, okay. Meta sounds good for him. How about Balthier?
Well, nope.
You go with nope.
I don't think anyone disagrees with that one. Like, unfortunately, he's a cool character from the game, but he was not done justice in Brave Exvius. And Sakura, Blossom Sage Sakura.
She's probably close to nope too.
Yeah,
I'd say so too. Like, she got some global upgrades, but it's just like she doesn't really do anything relevant these days. Is her big problem.
she's like just basically a. Like, she doesn't even have a relevant chain family right now, right? In the damage. She's Graviton Cannon. Oh my god.
She has Bolting Strike, too, I think, doesn't she? Maybe? One of her forms? I don't know.
In the base form, she does have a Bolting Strike.
Not that good.
But she's
7.2 times modifier. Yikes.
So I guess she doesn't. Alright, how about Charlotte and Physalis?
They're viable.
I would almost put them in meta tier just because they're the only tag chainer that is neutral element. The other ones like Lasswell Reagan, they are on their LB only, and if you want to do a tag chain every single turn of a specific element, they're the only options. All the other tag chainers are element locked except for their limit burst for a few of them. But that's probably not really meta for that reason.
I think she's viable though, like for sure.
Yeah, I'd say she goes there. How about Christine? She was, in my opinion, one of the big disappointments of this Christmas.
She's probably nope at this. Although, I mean, she's got some really niche like ice support, but probably isn't gonna do anything for her.
I'll be honest, I actually don't know much about her, really.
She mostly just acts as a LB capper or LB chainer, I guess, in her shift form.
Yeah, Extreme Nova. She changed Extreme Nova, apparently.
She has, like... She basically just spams her LB in shift form.
But is her damage, like, at all relevant in today's...
It's not great, but she does have 150 Beast Killer.
Is it single target, or is it self-only, or is it AoE?
It's a self-only.
That's
a lull, nope.
There's better options for that. All right, how about the original?
Low nope.
Really?
Probably go nope.
If you give him good gear and support, he does okay-ish damage. He could clear most trials.
His damage is like...
It's not great though. You
think? I think if his damage is... Isn't his damage less than Axstar? So if Axstar's in low nope, I think Cloud should be right.
Cloud needs like
a lot of support.
Yeah. Which is probably not worth it these days. I mean, I actually used him a little bit when he first came out, but I think at this point he has been kind of left behind. Okay, that's fine. Now, how about the Remake Cloud, the Neovision's base?
Also nope, or underwhelming. If he had his X+2 buffs that JP had,
that definitely
Great Sword and Pearl, then he would have been niche. But I think it's underwhelming at best because his LB modifier isn't bad.
Yeah, he once Global gets Zidane, that'll help him out quite a bit. But I think his own personal LB buff is only 100%, which is pretty low. Okay.
Also, he really needs the Great Sword and Pearl that JP got.
Yeah, if we ever get that, he'll definitely go up a lot in value.
Yep.
All right. How about Cobalt Blade Noctis?
Meta at the top of meta.
He is. He does one of the highest damage in the game right now. So that's a pretty easy meta pick. Yeah. All right. Dark Fina. I think there's gonna be no arguments there.
That should be meta.
All right. Fina and Sol. Y'all say meta for them?
Yep. Back chainer, killer buffs. They have the killer buffs too, right?
That's true. The killer buffs are very, very good. And their damage is respectable. So yeah, that's fine.
Aren't they still the only tag chaining mages? So that alone puts
Rain and Fina do as well.
Oh right, yeah, that's true. In the shift form, Rain and Fina does.
Yeah. All right, Dark Knight Leon.
He has a niche. He has a killer and Dark Imbue, right?
Not really. He's like a no.
Or was that Lunis that had the killer buff?
That's Luna.
Okay.
Leon is pretty
underwhelming. His damage is like, not really that good these days.
He goes to no. Like
I think his
he's
damage,
out here.
his damage is lower than. No, it's I guess higher than X-Star,
But like it's I don't know. It's still not that relevant. His burst is really bad if we were talking, and he's locking dark too. So
Okay. And then Dark Knight Luneth.
niche. She has a 200% killer buff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
he's-
Especially relevant for this current DV.
I'd agree.
And
For both undead and aquatic, and those are pretty rare killers, and they can be stolen and spread. So yeah, he definitely has a niche for dark vision. He's been quite useful for 2 dark visions at this point now.
And his shift form has a decent LB mod, right? It's like 110, 30? I don't remember.
I don't remember how much specifically. He does have 150% buff for it, so and it's nice. It can be capped and all, so he's okay. And he does have the 6 times chain cap, I think, in the shift form. So that's good. All right, Draconian Fina. This is the unit. She was like really hyped, and technically she's good, but I don't really see people using her that much. In
Light Terra. Anyone?
I think
she's a light terror, exactly.
I think the tricky part of her LB is that it's harder to fit in the cap because it's chaining move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a move.
Yeah, the frames are like triple Chaos Wave or triple Bolting. It's one of them. I forget which one.
It's kind of janky, but it
her LB is densing that chain, so like you can just chain with a dupe.
And she still is respectable damage, a consistent damage over time. So you think she's viable?
Oh yeah,
I think she's viable.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
viable.
She's viable.
How about Eldrin?
He's viable too.
Is he? I know I've always since day one been kind of harsh and critical of Eldrin. I wasn't happy with his design, but if y'all, I actually don't. I'm not super familiar with him either because I don't have him. I've never used him. I've never even seen a video of him. So
There's
I'll
not
rely
that
on
much
y'all.
content that people use him on, but he does good damage, and
So you think he's in the viable tier?
I think he's better for trials than he's for DV. You would never use him for DV because all of his moves are AOE.
yeah.
That's another problem. I remember now after reading his kit when he first came out. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, it's not gonna work.
He's definitely viable. He's actually when he was first released, he was pretty far ahead of the DPS curve.
Okay. How about Emperor?
Niche.
Yeah, I'd say that too because for fire mages and dark visions, like after Terra, there's not a whole lot of great fire mages. So he's one of the few, which is like.
How long does he take to ramp up now?
Well, in dark vision, you use his LB. You don't ramp him at all. So he's ready to go on turn 2.
Okay.
Wait, is this just a snapshot now, or are we considering like the future?
This is the as of today where they're currently on the meta. Yeah, like in the future, he just got buffs in JP, which we may or may not get on global, which makes them a whole lot better. And if we get them, then he's definitely good. But we may not get them because global just never brings over EX2 buffs.
Yeah, because if we're talking about fire mages, if Roy comes, then he kind of blows Emperor out of the water.
Oh yeah. If we get Roy, then definitely Emperor loses his big claim to fame as being like the second fire mage. Ferris, I'd say she's meta with the fields and the dark vision buffs, and her damage
She's
is really
meta.
good. It's a pretty easy pick. Fina and Dark Fina, I think
She's
no.
they go right into the nope category. All right, Neovision's Furion. This is a unit that there are some people that they really argue for him and say, oh, he's really good. I personally have never thought he's been worth putting on a team, but do y'all agree, disagree?
It's niche for STMR.
Well, yeah, and this ranking is specifically for the unit themselves, like not the gear they bring along with them. So just as him as a unit on a team, where should he rank? No one. I say no, but if y'all think he should go up.
I think he's an underwhelming. If you put Aerith in underwhelming, and same with Cloud, I think Furion is just as well an underwhelming.
Okay.
That's true. And also, Furion does bring the what do you call it? Bow breakage thing.
Oh, does he? Is there even a fight in the game that is weak to bows?
That's true. I mean, fair, but then bow and sword. It's on one move.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay, he has a Neovision's base, so okay, he goes in underwhelming. You know, we're sorry, Axstar. All right. Pyro Glacial Lasswell. This is a unit.
Can I just say, I know you guys already rated Axstar, but technically Axstar brings a decently good card. And I know it's the unit only, but he does bring a good card.
He does. His card.
Technically, we're talking about it. Axstar does more damage than Furion, so yeah. If Furion's getting underwhelming, then Axstar should probably go there too.
Yeah, I think so. Axstar should be underwhelming.
Yeah, let's just bring it up because he's a NV based.
All right, he's been promoted. All right, Pyro Glacial Lasswell. This is a unit that he was really good at release. It's just that time moves on and his damage hasn't kept up. But he was good for a while there, like 2 months. He was really good in trials.
Yeah,
it's probably underwhelming.
It's just like his damage is outdated at this point, but it was good.
He was really good for the Chamber of Vengeance for me.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's good against the Elf on the Shelf fight.
Yeah.
All right.
Meta.
Straight to meta.
Yeah, he is. He is still to this day one of the best physical tanks, if not the best physical tank. Maybe Snow. We'll get to him. We'll get to him later, though. But Gilgamesh.
Meta.
Yeah,
meta.
I'd say he's meta too. He does just everything. he even does okayish damage if you gear him for that way and support him with the chains.
Mm-hmm.
If you have his limited time spear, you definitely can do really good damage with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
All right, Gladiolus as a physical tank. Viable?
I think it's viable. Yeah.
He doesn't really have any issues tanking though, does he? I mean, that's the only thing he does.
I think the only problem for him is that he can't tank Genie, right? Without support.
If you give him no support whatsoever, he's probably going to struggle and maybe even probably can't do it unless you're a super whale, maybe. But for the most part, he's probably not going to be able to solo tank it. That's Snow too. If you give him like a little bit of team support, then he should be fine. But yeah, just as a totally standalone, he probably can't.
But then
I think Grant is the only one that can actually solo tank Genie, right? So
Snow can do it too.
Snow can if you get his LB filled on turn 1. Or filled
support,
enough. You can do it with drops. It does rely on RNG. You got to get a lot of drops on turn 1. It can be done, but it's hard. It's really hard if you don't have any kind of support.
So I think what Sinsor's then saying is that Gladio needs consistent team support, while Snow only needs 1 turn team support, which is actually a really big difference because I think you can find enough room in a unit's kit to give it 1 turn to say give it LB fill, but Gladio needs consistent help to stay alive. Now, I'm actually split on this because Gladio himself as a unit is really tanky and fine. It's just he's kind of clunky with how you need to spam his mitigation.
His turn economy is really bad.
Repeat, yeah. He just presses repeat.
Mm-hmm. But
that's why I wanted to just put him.
But he's definitely viable.
Yep.
Okay. Grimlord Sakura. Here's another one that's kind of like divisive. A lot of people are like really in the Grimlord Sakura fan club.
She's probably niche for TV purposes.
I say she's niche or underwhelming.
I think she's niche.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of niche. I'd actually say underwhelming myself because while she does have a lot of decent kit, her damage is just not there. It's just not, in my opinion. So even though she does have support, the damage is so far behind. But she does have a really loaded support kit, so niche I guess seems fine. And then she does have killers for the whole party, which is nice. So
she has 3 different killers for both physical and magic, 150% for human, demon, undead.
Doing here.
And yeah, she has like evade and a lot of resist, so she's niche for DB purposes. But
okay,
her.
Ibarra.
Is this tier list?
Ibarra's meta.
Ibarra, I'd say she's meta. Like she is probably the most broken unit we've gotten in Dark Vision. I'm not Dark Visions, in the Neovisions era from like day 1 to today. She is still used all the time, still at the top of the charts.
If her LB was fixed, do you think she would no longer be meta?
That means if you're saying if she's doing like 66% of her current damage, would she still be good? Not really, because the only reason she's good is because of her damage. She's not like bringing any support or anything. It's literally she's only there because of her damage. It's so high. So if it was, quote unquote correctly working, probably not, because that would mean she would just do less damage. So
the damage gets a pretty significant buff once if you use her with Zidane STMR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once again, Ibarra never goes away. She's always there in the meta. So and like
wouldn't Zidane's STMR or Aerith LB the future Aerith LB really
or Celeste. There's a bunch of units in the future that bumps LB by at least 250 to 300%. Well, Zidane's only one that does 300, but there's a bunch that does 250.
And yeah,
she really benefits from having any buff because her kit has none, right?
None whatsoever, correct?
No, none. Yeah. So,
all right, let's move on to Axe Boy
Ignacio. Even though technically I'd say niche, even not really, because like he's the only axe in peril. But no one uses axes now or in the future, so does that even matter?
Yeah. He's probably underwhelming at this point.
He's not lull nope, I think, though.
So underwhelming.
His damage is fine. His burst is like, yeah, his damage is fine, but like, it's just his kit. Otherwise, it's just not as good as.
We need NV Mercedes.
All right, how about Neovision's Awakening Ignis?
I think
viable or meta?
Probably meta at this point.
Yeah.
You think meta? I'd say viable because he's like really good at what he does. It's just like you don't really need what he does if you get what I'm saying.
I think he's kind of like if you have Ignis and Eurasia, you would always take Eurasia over Ignis. I think that's the thing.
Yes, but he does give like you can T-cast his stuff in shift form, which is really nice.
I think he's viable at least, but meta if you argue for it.
The thing about him being meta is that he doesn't he have fields? I mean, it's only 15 or amps. He has 15% amps.
Yeah,
and he
for 3 elements.
I think the amps are for himself only. I believe they're not part.
Oh,
of
is it?
Yeah,
that's kind of useless.
He has it on his LB.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he heals like basically Karaja heal a 280% AoE buff.
Oh yeah,
he does have
fire, ice, lightning amp on his LB. His LB is dirt cheap, so
y'all think he's meta?
Yeah, and the fact that he can act as a healer. So
I mean, Eurasia's better at that though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he's
that's true. Okay,
still not good, right?
Okay. So, Infernal Fire Rain. I'd say he's definitely in the niche category. His field is really good when you need it, but other than that, he's just not doing anything.
I think if this was 2 months ago, he would have been viable, but...
Yeah, he's just niche.
Currently, he's niche.
His damage is really poor.
Yeah, he got really, shortchanged on the passives. All right, Kyrie. She is bringing, low damage and a 25% amplify for the party, and that's basically it.
I'm actually tempted to say Kyrie's a lull nope, but we can't do that for a base NV, so underwhelming.
Well, I mean,
she's not that bad, but she's probably underwhelming.
She does still have the amplify, which is one of the highest in the game for the party. Well, I guess Bart's really kind of like replaced her in the dark vision stuff, though, huh?
Yeah. I mean, Bart's replaced her, and then by the time that light becomes relevant, we have Aerith. So
Kyrie does OG cloud damage.
Oh, her damage is real bad. It's
she's more of a support, light support unit.
King Bohemi.
This is probably going to be a discussion. So, what do you all think about Bohemi?
At the end of the day, he's still like a meta tank. Because we only have like three physical tanks.
So even at worst, he's still meta because
I think he's still better than Gladio, right?
Yeah, again, that's what I was saying. Like Ferk mentioned that how many physical tanks we really have other than Gabby. So he ends up.
I mean,
he can struggle, but he still gets the job done. I feel like at least
he does, and he's one of those units where like. The problem he does have with the mitigation, you can fix that with stuff in the party. So, and he does have a really good kit. So meta seems fine, I guess.
Okay, yeah, meta.
I have to point out right here, though, King Bahimi is probably the biggest unit in the game, and he has the smallest sprite on this list. Why is that? All right, Kryla.
Meta,
viable,
right?
Probably.
No,
She's meta right now. She's viable.
So I want to bring this up because having only 80% like breaks as her best, because I mean, forget the 85 because that's on her. 85 is on the grandest.
She has 85 for 10 turns.
So,
or no, 6 turns. Sorry.
I don't think that's really meta at this point.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So
Fair.
viable. Yeah, I'd say that's fine. She's technically good in Dark Visions. I pulled her because I wanted her for Dark Visions, and I ended up almost never using her in Dark Visions. So
Everything that Kryla
I
could
used
do,
her this time around. She was good for Yubara.
Kryla could do, like, in perils or the breaks, Gilgamesh does better.
yeah,
That's true.
That's actually Gilgamesh does do a lot what she does. Okay, Edgar is probably meta.
Meta?
He's like
Meta.
one of the highest bursters in the game, so that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Kunshira.
That's a low number.
No.
Kashira, nope.
Yeah, she has like basically no redeeming qualities. Neovision's Lasswell.
He
has
probably goes
two killers.
underwhelming.
No, I
He
put
has
it
two
niche.
killers. I put it at niche. He has 2 killers that are 150% for what do you call it? A dragon, and what was it? What was the second one?
Insect,
Just
maybe?
insect. I think it was insect. Yeah, insect.
And
Is
he also has
Insect really
immutable
relevant?
magic.
And he's okay-ish in Dark Visions. He can definitely hit hard if you gear him really
Yeah,
well.
he does
And
damage.
also his shift form LB is non-elemental and it's imbuable,
Mhm.
and it's 158 times modifier. It's imbuable, yeah. So it's 158 times modifier. So it's really
I
good.
guess he's niche.
And whale on him.
It's 150% buffs, by the way. I don't know if it's not 200. I don't know if I heard wrong or you said
No,
200.
I said I didn't say the number for his killer buffs. I
Oh,
said,
okay.
All right, how about Lasswell Reagan?
Meta.
meta.
Next.
He's meta. Yeah, I was gonna say like he's starting to slowly fall out of the like Dark Visions ranking just because we're getting bigger bursters than him. But he's still really good. He hasn't like fallen that far yet.
And also, if he lets you not take masterminds on, like you said earlier, so it's just
For dragon fights, yeah. His
dragon fights,
he has,
so it's
he
just
has the
way
AoE
better.
killers. Okay, Lightning, the original Lightning, first 7-star
right?
ever.
She's
I'd say niche. She has the highest thunder amplify, and she has a gun in peril. So, and if you have her Thunderfall materia, she also does 130 thunder in peril as well. I said that already, didn't I? No, I said gun in peril. But yeah, I'd say niche. She can definitely really support a team. Her damage is pointless, but as a support unit, she can do a lot.
Yeah, I agree. She's a good support.
is there even like good lightning teams right now? I guess maybe Luna.
You can do a physical lightning team with Ferris's field as well. Ferris can do the Ramu field.
I suppose, yeah. Okay.
All right. Locke, Neovision's Locke.
He's viable, but I don't know if meta.
He's viable, yeah. Well, I mean, you can argue for him to be meta because he does. The 90% breaks is pretty
meta
strong.
and what though? Like that's the thing. Like I mean, I know he's the highest attack and magic breaker in the game, but is that really that big of a deal for any fight?
He does
really?
let you like no DPS things or no tank Asura.
Well, if you're doing the no tank Ashura, like you're either doing like the full Mirage take 0 damage, or you're like his 90% breaks are not gonna save your team on Ashura if you have no tank and you're not immuning all the damage.
I suppose, yeah.
I still think he's at least viable, maybe even almost meta. Purely not.
He's viable for sure.
Okay, viable it is. Lauren, this was a really popular unit for a while, but I feel like she as well is like just fallen out of grace. What do y'all think?
If we're talking about her as a breaker, she does 80%, right?
She does. She does 85. I think full uptime, maybe. But between her grandest and then her cooldown, if you properly stagger them, I think she has like 20-something turns of full uptime. Eventually, it would run out, if I'm remembering correctly.
She probably just goes into viable just for that.
I don't know.
Because she does also have 130% in Paros for 3 elements.
She does, but is that really just like, if all she's bringing is just like an 85 break and an Imperil? Is that good enough these days? Do you think?
Well, I mean, Kryla isn't doing that much else.
Kryla has a few other things. She has Perfect Dispel. Then again, so does Lauren.
So the only reason I don't think that Lauren could possibly be viable is purely because it's the same tier as Locke, which I think is a very different message. I think Locke is a better breaker, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right, we'll stick her in the niche. Although the niche is more like not specific.
I don't think. She won't go in niche.
It's underwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay. Lotus Mage Fina. She is the only like pure heal. Well, I guess Aerith too. One of the pure healers in the Neovision's tier. And
she probably goes into niche at this point.
no one uses healers anymore, right?
For the most part,
she's great for the arena.
There's actually a few trials you want to heal, like Ashura. You kind of want to heal her. It's just that there's better options for that other than Lotus Mage Fina. She's technically good for a slow clear on the Aemon trial coming up later, because she can reset your team's health even with the zombie up, and she's the only one that can do that. So I'd say niche. Like she has a few uses.
Niche.
I think healers as a role is just niche at this point.
Yeah, that's the bigger problem. It's just like healers have just been kind of power crept by the game entirely. All right, Lucius, who brings basically a 130 in peril to 2 elements and some bad damage. Yeah, that's like he doesn't really bring too much these days. Neovision's Adele. How about her?
She has killers, right?
She can buff Stone Killer for the party. She can imbue 2 elements and amplify those elements. She can also imperil those elements. She's good.
So she's probably viable.
Yeah, she's good for turn 1 clears, and her damage is okay if you have 12 to 24 turns to burn.
Yeah,
at least, right?
She's
viable.
I feel like she's viable just because of her team support.
Yeah, she does have some decent support, and then her damage is okay. Still, it's not bad. It's up there. Mazurka.
She's probably meta just because
her damage is poor, but she does have some unique, not unique, but rare stuff like triple Mirage. She can on-demand double Mirage. She's got the killer buff that you can steal,
and she has the resistant buffs is on her provoke for some reason. But yeah.
Oh yeah, she can Nethicite, which is something, I guess.
Yeah. So, I think if you look at individual parts of her kit, she's niche to viable, but throw them all together, you can probably argue she's meta. But she's viable or niche, that doesn't matter.
Let's stick her there, because her damage, the big thing is her damage is just behind, unfortunately.
She can burst harder than Edgar with EX+3, I think. But that's...
Emilia? What do y'all think for Emilia?
Meta, I would say.
Meta, I think, just because of the magic tank, lack of magic tanks.
I would actually put her at viable.
She's been tanky for
so
magic tank.
We have 4 magic tanks. We have FaZe, Snow, Charlotte, and Emilia. So with all 4 of those, do y'all really think Emilia's in the meta tier with those?
So I think Emilia's in a weird spot because she's slightly better. She's definitely better than Charlotte. She's nowhere near as good as FaZe. But is she better than Snow? Is I think the question. But
I think depending on what you're asking for, right? She's definitely not better than Snow if what you're asking for is just pure bulk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until Snow dies.
Until Snow dies, right?
And at which point Snow is useless as a magic tank.
That's true, because he can't shift back. But I think Emilia is meta because she's kind of like the in-between Snow and FaZe.
And she does have some support stuff that is, decentish. So
she can get some pretty high spirit too. She can get pretty bulky.
The only problem she has is that her type mitigation, her magic mitigation, is not 100% uptime. But if you have somebody to fill in that fill time, then she's ridiculously tanky. But if you don't, then she's kind of falls off a cliff.
Okay.
Yes.
Meta seems fine. Milo, the mage, or Mello, however you want to say his name, I'd say he's niche because he's too slow for trials, but there's a lot of dark visions with weak to water coming up for mages. And although Luna Freya is going to like rule the roost, Luna Freya can't solo cap them. You're going to want Milo on the team as well if you own him as like the second best water DPS for dark visions. So I'd say niche at the very least, maybe viable.
I feel like if Draconian Fina is viable, he's probably inviable too.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, what other water mages other than Shui do people have? Do people have to like actually use? So he's definitely viable.
Okay. Monk Sabin of Colts is the mishmash of bad physical, bad magical, bad tanking.
Yeah,
he's so that's a no. He's an ST
he goes there with Nalu.
Just no.
Throw Nalu there too.
Yeah, throw Nalu there too. We don't need to discuss it.
We can just skip these immediately. Who? Oh, Nyx.
Nyx has auto farming niches.
I feel like, I mean, as a DPS, he's probably viable.
His DPS isn't bad, and the fact that he has a decent light imbue, you could argue that he could fit into a light amp. He could fit into a light team. I think his LB is a light field too. I think.
The LB is a one-sided in peril field, so it actually stacks with your side of the field. So you could, for example, on this is like a rare combo, but like a light mage, you could put a Draconian Fina's field on your side and Nyx's field on the enemy side, and they both stack simultaneously, which is neat. It's just
the thing about. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just like, but light mages like just don't really exist.
Yeah, the thing about until Aerith, I suppose.
Yeah,
but at which point,
and the second of the Aerith, right?
Mm-hmm.
The issue about Nyx is that if he's in his shift, he does really good damage, but he's locked out of that half the time. So
he has the same problem Reagan does, right?
Mm-hmm.
His shift form does really good damage, and then out of it, he does like none.
Just guard 4 turns.
Yeah, you might as well, really, right?
I mean, yeah, that's what I literally did on my Assure Clear with Reagan. Like, I chained 1 turn, did like 0.5%. I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, just there's no point.
All right, Neovision's base Onion Knight. I feel like he just didn't get enough when he became a Neovision's. Like, he breaks and he does DPS that is not even that good anymore. And that's it. Like, the accuracy stuff has been completely worthless from day one. It's never been that.
He never had, like, big bursts either, right? It was
he does pretty good damage over time. Like, he does more damage than Nyx does, so.
That's true.
Does he?
He does have breaks.
Yeah, he does.
He's viable, I guess.
Okay. Why not? Onion Refia.
Nope.
Yeah, she's like the same thing as Onion Knight. Like, she has all the accuracy stuff that isn't really used, and she doesn't bring damage like him, though. Luna Freya, I think, can be easily, without much discussion of why.
She's nope tier. Definitely nope tier.
All right, Prompto. I'd say Prompto is almost in the nope tier. Like,
doesn't he have a niche though?
He does have the 87% break, but that's literally all he does.
And he has good turn one, like one big turn burst, right?
I mean, he has burst. I wouldn't call it good. Like,
that's okay.
Because he doesn't have the chain cap increase or any of that. His passives are relatively low, so I don't know. Maybe underwhelming because he does have the 87% break, which is still pretty rare.
Yeah, he probably goes
underwhelming. Or underwhelming, I guess.
All right. Too. Radiant Lightning. She actually does pretty good damage as a mage. Honestly, it's not like meta tier, but it's good enough. She can kill Chimera in 15 turns or less.
Yeah, she kind of belongs in viable, probably.
Oh, true. We don't have NV Faceless here. Oh, that's kind of sad.
Oh, we don't?
She'd be meta if we did, though.
Oh, we must have missed her. Or not
her?
Pika must have missed her.
Yeah, I missed her. My bad, guys. But, I mean, if she was, she'd be in meta, right?
Probably. Yeah, Physalis is still down. I feel like she's another one of the units that her damage is starting to slowly fall behind. But as of today, she probably would make the cut.
I mean, she's still one of the best mages to take for the Genie trial, which should be coming up soon, right?
Yeah, she is. So, okay. So, for those watching, if we had Physalis, pretend like she's in the meta tier. All right, Reagan. I'd say he's like more in like the niche category because he's really good for that Omni cover when it's relevant. It's just like so rarely relevant, and his burst is high, but he has the same problem as Nyx, where he has the 4 turns of good and the 4 turns of horrible.
If Nyx isn't viable, he probably goes inviable too.
Well,
though, right?
Nyx has that field, which is really good for the whole party, which I think is worth something.
I suppose.
Nyx also has well, I guess Reagan also has it, but the amp thing is kind of big, the Imperil thing.
Yeah. All right, Neovision's base Rain. What does he even
do? That's a niche.
Like he buffs
Beast Killer, Fire Imbue and Fire Amp, right?
Fire Imbue,
and
Fire Amp,
Beast
Killer buff, and attack buff.
Oh yeah, Beast Killer too.
Yeah, he's very niche in that.
It's just that his damage is so bad these days.
Yeah.
So niche for the killers.
Yep,
yeah,
for the killers.
Because I think
you only take him for the killers. I mean, you take him over Red 13, right? For the killers, for Beast Killer.
Yeah. Because his does not require Zon. Red's would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then Red 13. He had like a super good role as like the anti-behemoth unit because of that Mirage, but it's just been irrelevant ever since. So
he's probably nope at this point. Or underwhelming.
He does have, I think, 3 killers for Zon to steal, but like
I think he does have a niche, but
underwhelming maybe.
His damage is real bad. That's the big problem. It's like you'd literally be taking him just for his killer stealing. So underwhelming, maybe. All right, Riku Kingdom Hearts. He's a little tricky one. Like he does the breaks, but I don't really put a super ton of value on just like, oh, I'm a breaker, because everyone's a breaker almost, it seems like.
He's probably at least viable.
Yeah, his damage, like his burst is decent. It's really irritating because of the frames, but you can make it work. Okay.
I think he's viable. Closer to niche, but viable.
Okay, that works.
To be fair, he is like the top 10 like physical damage dealer we have.
Yeah, his burst is good.
Does that make him meta? Like, you know,
he is element locked, but it's fine. Noctis is element locked too, I guess.
Well, yeah, but because he does so much damage, I think Noctis deserves the slot there.
True, yeah.
All right, Sacred Shield Charlotte as a Neovision's Awakened magic tank.
Viable.
Yeah, she's good.
She's viable.
She can get the job done for all the magic trials. She's just not missing the tools the meta units have. All right, Savior Soul's Lightning. I'd put her in meta just because she's still the absolute best spirit breaker, and she has a lot of other support kit too. Our list is getting big.
Very big.
Sarah, Neovision's Awakening.
Nope.
Underwhelming.
No, she's not a nope. She's underwhelming or niche.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hear people like, you know, fangirl her, like, oh, she's good in these fights, but I personally would put her in nope, but I know a lot of people are like, say Sarah has a place in some fights, so y'all say underwhelming? LOL nope.
I say underwhelming. She has a place in very few fights, but the ones that she is in, she's decent for it, so I think this way it's underwhelming.
Okay. Shoreline Fina, that should be pretty easy.
Pretty easy.
They're the best choice for magical tanks currently, and they're not going to change until maybe Seals. Oh, actually, Beatrix is. Well, then again, Beatrix. Well, it's not out yet.
Did you just Seals?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VI tank that just came out in JP. That's a long ways away, though.
Do you mean Sally's, Censar? Sally's?
Sally? I have never in my life called her Sally.
Celeste?
Celeste, I could get behind, like a shorthand of Celeste because they couldn't put long names on Super Nintendo, but Sellies? No, I disagree with Sellies.
It's like how you pronounce Cobalt. Cobalt Noctis.
Keybolt?
Cobalt.
All right. How about another crazy name, Shui Yu? Am I saying that right?
She's meta, yeah.
She's meta.
Meta. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meta.
You know how everyone calls her Waterfish? It's actually closer. I think her name's supposed to be Water Jade.
Oh, is it? All right. Neovision Saul.
Underwhelming.
I'd say he'd probably be one of the ones worth going into the nope, even as a base. Like, his damage is so horrible. It's so bad.
Really bad. It's
and like
true.
He has no utility, nothing. I mean, other than the fact that he brings the best mage card, or one of them, he just doesn't do anything.
I'm so sorry to hijack this, but I just realized that I got 10 out of 10 NV tickets, and I'm going to pull right now. So, all right.
I
wish you get Saul.
Good luck.
Let's do it again. Before we move on, I just want to see what I get.
Okay.
I got Faceless Neovision. Okay.
That's not bad, and her STMR is great, so you actually want 2 of those at some point if you can. So
now go Cap DV. You mean 2? You mean like 4?
Alright, Solitary Patron Snow, the magical or physical tank, and also these days he's been used quite a bit as a magical damage dealer in Dark Visions.
Yeah, he's meta.
Meta? Okay.
I actually did end up using him in my DV, and he bumped up my score like by 1 billion or something. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, if you imbue him and give him high spirit, he does hit pretty hard in his shift form.
And there is that bug, I suppose, right now where the global ED HSDW stack with
I've actually seen people say that's been fixed. I don't have Snow, I don't know, but is that fixed? Does anyone know?
I don't believe so. I think you still get like 5k spirit on him. I don't know. I don't have him either, but
my Snow had 5k spirit, but I don't know if that's I just specifically built for spirit, so maybe that's why for me. I don't know if it was because of the bug.
Okay, Kingdom Hearts Sora, I'd say viable. His damage is definitely not what it used to be these days, but he's still viable. He's good enough. Is he really though? I don't know. I took him to Ashura, and it was pretty slow. It really was.
He's top 10 physical DPS.
Okay, sure. Starlight Elena, she has to go at the very highest underwhelming, maybe even no. I don't know. Maybe. What do y'all think?
I think she's almost a little no. She's almost a little no.
She's underwhelming at this point, I think.
Like, I mean,
she does have some really niche killers.
She does have. Well, I wouldn't call those niche. Human and demon are probably the 2 most common killers out there.
Isn't it
200%? Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, if she could go to the niche tier for her killers.
Oh, I see. Well, you gotta bring Zahn too, which is, I'd say underwhelming. Like, her damage is just not there anymore.
She's
it almost never was.
She is always a bonus unit in global events. So
I mean, it's true. She is the permanent bonus unit, which is nice.
Hey, but then Emilia was added to that list too now. So.
Oh yeah, they were. All right, Summer Fina and Lid as a.
I'd say meta. Arguably meta.
They're definitely either viable or meta. Probably meta. I actually use them quite a bit. They do so much, and they do it well as well. So.
Healing, MP refresh, break-in, imperiling, they do a lot.
Okay.
You just never use their shift form, but
oh yeah,
which is kind of sad. But
I actually LB potted them, door potted their attack power on all for their shift form just for a friend of mine because he wanted to try her as a DPS, and he convinced me to use those resources to do that, and I did it. I will never get those pots back.
What did it cost you?
All right, Summer, Fulca, and Citra.
Niche.
Niche. Yeah, I'd say niche. They got that killers. They've got 2 killers that you can spread to the team. They've got imbues and perils, all the immunity buffs. They can heal. They're good. It's just like they're not good enough to be in the viable, I think.
And they're really good. If you really want that easy golem every turn strat, as a healer, that also chains.
Oh yeah.
Kind of need the evoke bar filled every turn.
Okay, that's actually super niche, but at the same time, that's actually really helpful niche.
Yeah.
It could help some tanks survive fights really that they can't otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Neovision's Terra, I mean, that's probably like an automatic meta.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Ooh, Tifa.
Tifa's a little tricky. Like, I think she's definitely fallen way behind as far as the finishers. There's so
top
many
10 DPS.
I mean, there's so many people that do better than her. Have y'all been using her in Dark Visions in the last like 2 or 3 months?
I still use her.
Yeah, I used her
for the area, the first areas instead of in the last stages. No.
Hey, Stinzo, not everyone has the most recent DPS, okay?
Well, I get that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked if y'all use her. I actually still use her in my like budget videos for Dark Visions because she is, the free Neovisions. So y'all think she's inviolable still?
I think viable, yeah.
She's still viable, yeah.
Okay.
I think
she's
she does more than Sora, right? So.
And single turn burst for like Dark Visions.
Like DPT wise.
I don't know. Oh, does she? I don't think she does. I think Sora does.
Yeah, she does if you least based on spreadsheet math.
Okay. Untamed Wolf Adele. I
think she can be argued for viable, right? She's the evoke wind. Was she wind damage?
Technically, but I don't. It's a hard sell because she's
Budget Ferris.
She can only triple cast, and her damage, like, to do good damage, she needs like a lot of STMRs, and like people that have those STMRs, like, are you really using her for anything? It's kind of like the tricky thing with some of these units. That's like true. To make them good, you need to have better stuff that would mean why are you using this worse unit? So I'd say like underwhelming.
I think if Emperor is in niche, she goes in niche too because she's like the second best wind damage dealer.
That's true. She's the second best to Ferris, right?
That is kind of true for wind mages. Yeah, there's not many better. Okay, niche is fine as a wind mage.
Xavier Soul Lightning in BS form has a.
She does, but it's like
kind of bad.
Really bad. Yeah.
And
it's also all AoEs. You can't even use it in Dark Vision. I mean, you can make it work, but it's a big headache.
Fissilus also had a wind chain, right?
That's right. Fissilus is a wind mage. Yeah, and she's actually really good at it because of the chain cap increase. She can quad cast, whereas this one's only triple cast.
All right, demote her.
Demote her. You've lost your niche.
For wind, though, Adele does spell the same as Fissilus, so...
Does she?
Yeah, it's
that.
Alright, fine.
Fissilus' wind chaining is not, like, super good. Like, it's all about her chaining, right?
It's only because Emperor... If you move Emperor down to underwhelming, then that would make a lot more sense.
Alright, so...
Because Emperor's damage is actually kind of low.
So Emperor and Adele get to keep their spot as just lack of options for that element in Dark Vision. All right.
I think the... Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Veritas of the Dark, how does he do?
Meta.
Okay,
he's
arena meta.
Ignoring his arena skill, ignoring that in a trial or Dark Visions fight, how is he ranking? I'd say he's in the nope tier.
Yeah, he's a nope. But
you can bring him to whatever dark trial there is and just
absorb the damage.
So basically none. All right, Vermillion Blade Arden. Now again, the disclaimer: we're doing this before seeing the data mine for global, so based on his JP kit and assuming he's getting the same buffs as Noctis, so like 1 turn jump, turn 1 LB, and higher modifiers. Assuming he's the Dark Noctis, how would he rank?
Also, there is the mistake. I feel like it's a mistake in the jail news where it says he's elementless.
Hey, don't say that. You never know.
It does say that. According to the news that they put out, which is unconfirmed. I mean, they put it out, but might be a typo. It says he's elementless. In that case, he'd be probably better than Noctis at that point.
Well, it doesn't say he's not elementalist. It just doesn't specify the element.
Specify an element, yeah.
Yeah. So,
which in Noctis it was specified to be like
he's still meta.
He's still meta. Whatever the case, he's still meta.
Okay.
Yeah, even if he doesn't come buff, I think he still goes meta.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be at the very least get the same modifiers as Noctis. So yeah, meta because just that means he'll be tied for the highest DPS in the game. Okay. Oh god, what is her name? Venera. Venera.
She's meta.
Meta, 90% spirit
Meta,
break.
I suppose.
Or defense break. And attack break, actually.
Yeah.
Her card's also really good, although we're not considering it.
And she also has the highest Dark Amplify for the whole party, which is really good.
So whoever's voting for Sephiroth should have pulled for Fina.
That's why I pulled for her.
I feel attacked. I feel attacked.
Was Sephiroth even out when she came out? I don't think so.
No, that's not why I pulled for her.
Oh, okay.
Warrior of Light Bartz as the...
Meta.
Yeah.
His
damage is decent. It's not... But he does have, like, the absolute best amplify in the game right now. So, sure. Meta sounds good. And it's my favorite unit, so that works. Yoshikiri, I'd say he's kind of...
No, he's niche. I'd say he's niche.
Is he, though? Like, is it even worth bringing Zahn and Yoshi for a 100%... Oh, no, you don't need Zahn with him, do you?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay. That's right. His buffs are AoE for killers. Okay. So, niche, you think? Like, there's that...
I think he also is half useful if you don't have a full bonus team for Ifrit Chronicle Battle.
I mean, I guess.
Okay. I don't know if I feel like you always bring Zahn over him, though.
Not always. Like, if you're... Like, the bikini one...
Because aren't that high.
Well, for like human killer buff, who would you bring? Like the human killer buff, like Cleo and Axstar, you don't need Zahn. So if you're bringing like Hayo, Roberta, who else has 200% human killers?
I suppose.
Like it's literally 2 dead slots just for the human killer, whereas Yoshi is only 1 dead slot.
That's true.
Yeah, Yoshi has a niche. It's just not that great of a niche anymore. When he came out, I think he was really good. He's just been outclassed by other sports.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he came out, people didn't really like Yoshi, though.
Okay, Eurysha, Neovision's Awakening. She's definitely high. Meta.
I'd say she's meta.
Okay, she is one of the better support units. She's got a whole lot in her kit. I can't even list it all. She has a lot. And that was it. That's the whole list as of
Well, one more. I missed another unit called Rain and Fina. So there's that.
Oh, Rain and Fina. So if we had them, they'd probably be meta too, wouldn't they? Because of the AoE killer.
Mm-hmm.
And,
AoE killer.
Tag chaining, respectable damage.
Top 10 DPS.
All of them.
I was looking for that. I was waiting for that, Ferg. I was waiting for that.
All of them share the same reason. All the tag chains share the same reason to stay in meta because of their AoE 150% killers.
And the fact that tag chains are quite useful a lot of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So there
you should export this image.
Okay, I'll do that when we finish recording. Yeah, I'll save it and I'll post it.
You should bootleg right in Facilis and.
See now the real question is where would we put Ether?
Who?
Esther?
Yeah.
Esther is a fake Neovision's Awakening. She doesn't count. But I'd put her in underwhelming. I mean, there were a few Esther fans that like made her work on the current trial, so you can make her work. So I guess underwhelming. I mean, she gets the job done.
I do hope. Wait, did we not include Arnea for a reason?
No, Arnea's no.
She's
okay. She's underwhelming.
Yep, she was at the very start because alphabetical order.
Okay.
So there it is. That didn't take too long to discuss and rank the
we are totally qualified individuals to create a tier list for FFBE. This is the only tier list that matters in FFBE. No other tier list matters.
And I have to give you guys a spoiler warning. If you check back on this video in a week, people will tell you how wrong we are.
I'm looking forward to that.
This is why we do it.
But it was fun.
Power creep is kind of silly. Well, it's good, but it's also extreme.
I mean, according to us, like basically slightly above half of the units are still viable or meta. Only like what 20 something are just straight up no.
Yeah, I think
bad.
That's one thing that Eileen's been doing a good job at. I mean, I don't know if you're still like the thing about Eileen is that they've actually stepped up in their balance. You remember the early 7-star era, how like 90% of them were busts?
Oh,
I think the NV era, they kind of improved. Where like, oh, a lot of these NVAs have niches and good uses, and a lot of these NV bases. I mean, if you look at the bottom of the list, they're mostly old NVAs and old NV units, but they got out of that slump really, really quickly. I think comparatively.
Yeah.
Comparatively to the 7-star era, definitely.
I think they're gonna end up doing X plus 2 buffs to try to make the less useful ones more useful.
They have been in the JP server, but we're so far behind on those on the global. Do you think global is ever going to get them?
I mean, if we never get them, right? What's that gonna say about the Sephiroth and the Tifa banner, right?
Well, that's built into the kit.
Well, those are coming out like on day one. Those I think would probably just have it. I'm talking about Gumi seems for the most part to be really anti-buffing outdated units to make them good again. They just like enhancements have been canceled. We haven't gotten the EX2 buffs and all. So
enhancements were canceled until they were not, until they were, until they were not, until they were.
They were really good about enhancements during the 7-star era, but not so much since NV came out.
We're still missing a bunch of them though.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And SPBs just don't exist anymore.
That's a problem too. But I'm gonna stop the video here because it's already. I guess it's not too bad, like an hour or something. I don't know. But thanks guys for doing it. Thanks Pika for taking the time to import all the sprites, which was something I was not willing to do to make one of these lists.
No problem.
All right, so I'm going to be posting this, and hopefully people watching it can enjoy. And remember, this is all opinionated, so...
No, it's facts. Fuck you.
Please remain calm. Later.